doesn't love a good fight every now and then? Am I right, folks? And we've got a lot of fighting taking place right now on the Republican side of the aisle, Republican against a Republican. And I just love it all up. Here's what happened this week. Ted Cruz did an interview on Fox News earlier in the week when he said that Liz Cheney was suffering from Trump Derangement Syndrome, and then he said that Trump broke her mentally. Liz Cheney went on CNN to clap back at Ted Cruz, and here's what she had to say. Trump broke Ted Cruz. A real man would be defending his wife and his father and the Constitution. What Liz Janie is referring to, in case you haven't been following along over the years, is the fact that during the 2016 Republican primary, Ted Cruz was pretty much a never-Trump Republican, much like Liz Cheney is today. Donald Trump insulted Ted Cruz's wife, said that she was not attractive at all. In fact, they posted side-by-side pictures of her looking horrible, because that was the intent, next to Melania. And a lot of Trump supporters did the same thing. Donald Trump also somehow implied that Ted Cruz's father may have been involved in the Kennedy assassination. And even at the 2016 Republican convention, Ted Cruz told the audience, vote your conscience. Like, that's what he told those primary electors, vote your conscience, trying to convince people you don't have to vote for this guy. This is pretty wild stuff. And then in the second Donald Trump became the nominee, Ted Cruz flipped a switch. He immediately in his head thought, all right, you know what? We're all in. We're going in with Trump. I'm going to go get a picture of myself being humiliated by phone banking for him. And I'm not going to say a word about the fact that he insulted my wife, insulted my father, basically went down the family tree of the Cruz family, insulting anyone he could. And Ted Cruz was too much of a coward to actually stand up to Donald Trump and say something about it. Liz Cheney is correct here. And Ted Cruz, as usual, is in the wrong. But that's what Ted Cruz does best. Ted Cruz loves to pick fights with people because he doesn't think, I guess, anybody's ever going to fight back, which is why he always loses these fights. Whether it's with Liz Cheney or AOC, sometimes he fights with Jimmy Kimmel and always gets obliterated. He just can't win because he sucks so bad at everything. But Ted Cruz truly is a different human being today than he was 5 years ago. That's a weird thing to say. Ted Cruz has always been a creepy little character. I've told this story 100 times because I love telling it. He worked with the George W. Bush campaign as one of their lawyers that actually got the Supreme Court to step in and stop the vote counting in Florida that gave George W. Bush the presidency. But everybody else that worked with Ted Cruz hated him so much that Cruz couldn't get a job within the Bush administration. So even back then, people were like, I don't want anything to do with this guy. You know, he's a little out there, a little weird, a little wacky. We don't want to have to work with him every single day. So Cruz has always struggled to fit in. And so I think what happened to him, the way Trump broke him, was he gave him a way to finally fit in. Gave him the audience that he always wanted. But you had to get a little wackier to attract that audience. And that turned Ted Cruz into an even worse individual. So I'm glad Liz Cheney called him out for that. I'm glad she implied that he's not a real man. Because he's not. He's some kind of slimy, weird little creature. I can't even compare him to a real animal because that's an insult to any real animal. But he morphs into what he thinks will be accepted because he, deep down as a man, I truly believe, has struggled all of his life to be liked and accepted by his peers.